Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on another episode of Trailside Dukes. We got a good show for you today. We got some FCS Championship football. We got some NFL action. Things are kind of winding down for the regular season in the NFL, and we've got a little bit of I'm Mad with somebody that wrote into us. So pretty cool stuff. Hey, how was your Christmas?
Pretty good, Corey.
Yeah?
Yep.
Did you get anything in your stocking from Santa?
Not this, but this is a classic. But yeah, I got some fun Trailside Dukes stuff.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, he knows what you like.
I know.
Okay. Hey, if you...
How about you?
I gave some Trailside Dukes. Like, Callie got a super cool hoodie that she's always wanted. She likes the green hoodie with the logo on it. She wants to wear it to school. People are starting to take notice.
Nice.
You know, some of the kids, we're getting our demographic range out there now.
Yeah.
So, fun had by all with this Christmas season with some Trailside Dukes merch.
If we're going to appeal to the teenagers, maybe we need some advertisements on Zit Cream.
We could. Remember, like, the Oxy commercials?
Yes.
Like, I seem to remember those for some... Whatever happened? Is that even still around?
I don't know. I haven't had Zit. Maybe.
Thank God we don't have to worry about that stuff anymore.
Weird times.
Really? So, yeah. I mean, hey, if you guys want to order any kind of Trailside Duke merch, make sure you check out the description. There's links there to our two shops, and you can get all sorts of stuff, right?
Fun gifts.
Yeah, awesome things. Let's start out maybe with a little FCS action, right? We got Montana in there playing the Jackrabbits.
Yep.
So, down in Frisco.
Excitement building. Our good buddy Steve, who we interviewed on one of our early shows for Cool Friends.
Sounds like
he's a big Grizz fan. He's dialing in with his buddies to travel to Frisco.
They're going. They're going to the game. We'll have to get him on the show maybe and give us a recap of their experience.
Yeah, it would be fun.
If he can remember.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad he's able to go.
Yeah, pretty fun. Fun for Montana to bounce back and take it this far. I'd much rather see them win than South Dakota State.
Oh, me too. Yeah, with the Grizzlies all the way. And the way they were able to get to the championship.
Couple overtime games.
Double overtime. Made the interception in the end zone to seal the victory. That was pretty cool to see.
Yep. Cale Edwards, another kid
Coeur
we
d'Alene Viking.
Coeur d'Alene Viking, plays D-line for the Grizz. He's always been in the mix. I see him getting sacks here and there during the games. Fun to see him. And, Montana. Like, they got the 3 Fs and their fans, following them into Frisco,
Maybe
Texas.
That's another F. There's the fans, right?
The 4 Fs.
What do you got?
Firearms.
Fishing. Football. Fans.
They're bringing all that to Frisco.
They're bringing all the Fs.
I don't know if
And then Frisco, another F.
Yeah, I don't know if South
Just
Dakota
keeps going
has the
for
4
Montana.
Fs. We'll find out.
Well, I hope they beat those Jackrabbits.
Jackwagons.
Well, I'm just tired of them. I mean, they have a great program. They're, high-powered offense, great defense. It's going to be a tough team to beat, but hopefully the Grizz can pull it out against the Jackrabbits, sorry.
Right. Jacknards.
Okay.
Whatever. Okay.
So, here's one thing I saw last night is the Kraken played the Flames and beat them 2-1.
Yeah.
What's going on with the Flames?
Dude, as I look
they were hot early on. The Flames have been just, totally. Their flame is not as large as it used to be.
Yeah, they won like 4 or 5 in a row, and then now they've kind of been win one, lose one, this and that. And,
really?
So that one hurts, right? In Calgary, and Seattle now jumps ahead of them into the Pacific. But kind of a fun story, you know what I mean, for you Kraken fan.
The goalie.
But Chris Drager, 37 saves. And I caught pieces of that game. We were kind of busy, but watched the end. And, that guy was standing on his head. And interesting, right? Because he hasn't played a game in 20 months.
He was out with like an injury. 20 months
his ACL.
Goalies can snap their ACLs?
I guess so.
Like during the, I guess.
During the game,
if you get ran into by somebody, right?
Something.
Wow.
Yep.
Good for him.
You know what I mean? He was sidelined most of last season. And here he comes, and he stands on his head to give a big win for the Crackheads against the Flames.
Oh, okay. More name calling. I see. All right.
Well, you started it with the Jack
the Blue
Nards.
Flamers.
I know.
Calgary Flamers.
But, yeah, so big things. Kind of just a run-through on NHL, like your top teams. Atlantic Division, Boston, right?
Yeah.
They've only lost 7 games.
They did that like last year. They went through the whole season barely hitting double digits in the loss column.
Then they choked in the playoffs. Well, so not far behind them is Florida. You know what I mean? You look at the Metropolitan Division, the Rangers have only lost 8 games, and right behind them is the Islanders. They've only lost 9. Then you got Philly that's close, Carolina that's close. Kind of drops off from there. Pittsburgh, surprisingly, is kind of down near the bottom. That's a surprise. In the Western Conference, in the Central, you've got Colorado, who's
they were my pick for that division.
Yep, they've lost 11. Right behind them, though, are the Jets. Got to like those Winnipeg. Yep. And then it kind of drops from there. And then in the Pacific,
I think you picked Winnipeg for that division, didn't you?
Yes.
When we were doing our preseason
They've
picks.
got a lot of Ukrainians in Winnipeg. So they got, like, Ukrainian power.
Okay.
And then in the Pacific, you've got Vancouver that's only lost 9 games. Right behind them is Vegas, the Kings, surprisingly, and then Seattle and Calgary. And your team that you picked, Edmonton.
Oh, man.
They're not at the bottom. They were at the bottom for a while.
Rough start. I thought that, who would you have ever thought they were going to be that far down?
I hate Edmonton. So, yes, I want them down. I predict them down and whatever.
Well, that's a game like Edmonton and the Flames. Like, those guys are pretty big rivals, right?
Huge.
Like, isn't it, what was it called? The Battle of Alberta?
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is it always called the Battle of Alberta? Or was it just the one game where the goalies, you remember, you probably know what I'm talking about. The goalies came out to center ice and they fought?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I saw that the other day.
Since both those teams started in the late 70s, 80s, and with Gretzky's rise and stuff like that, Calgary just hated them. And Calgary beat them out of the playoffs to go to the 86 Cup. Won the 89 Cup, and so Edmonton and Calgary have hated each other for a long time.
Okay.
Good rivalry.
So anytime they get together, it's called
Battle
the Battle
of Alberta.
That's what it is. No other battle.
Yeah, we had the Battle of Alberta, Washington, and dang it, Calgary lost. They'll come back. Yep.
Okay, well, hopefully it's not the only time I get to talk about the Kraken. But
I know.
I did not pick the Kraken to win the division.
I know you didn't.
You said I wasn't being a very good homer to them.
No.
But, I didn't think Edmonton would be that far down. But I'm glad you're happy.
We'll see what happens. A lot of hockey left in the season.
Right.
Yep. Fun.
Okay. Well, how about some NFL action? We haven't talked NFL in a while. We had our picks. Our picks are actually doing well from the our preseason picks, and some teams have already clinched their playoff spot.
Yeah.
So NFC, we got Dallas, Philadelphia, Detroit, San Francisco. So those 4 are in it. You got other teams that are still trying to fight their way in the last couple of weeks of the season. You got the Bucks, Rams, you got the Seahawks, for NFC.
Right.
What about the Packers? Are they 7-8 or what's going on?
Packers are on the bubble. They got a big game coming up against Minnesota New Year's Eve.
And that's a big one because Minnesota's kind of fighting on the bubble too, right?
They're both on the bubble. Yep.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Big one. There's a few teams there. They got to have a few things happen. I'm hoping Seattle loses here in these next couple games.
Open up a spot.
Packers can kind of squeak in there. Jordan Love, he's got more touchdowns and passing yards
era for you
than
guys,
Patrick Mahomes.
The cheeseheads.
You know what I mean? Good first year for Jordan Love and those Packers. Their defense has got to figure a few things out. We'll see. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but it'd be fun to see them in the playoffs and knock Minnesota out for sure.
Okay.
Fun game that, you know what I mean, when you think about San Francisco, who is kind of considered like top of the NFL, and Baltimore and Miami are both considered top. And those two teams played, and gosh, Baltimore just kind of took it to them. Yep.
Baltimore's a tough team. They were my pick to win their division. I don't know. I mean, I'm a big Miami fan and got to use the spirit of Dan the man here, but I'm glad they're in the playoffs. But with their last 2 games, Miami has to play Baltimore this upcoming weekend, and then they play Buffalo at home. So they're at Baltimore and then Buffalo at home. Those are not 2 easy outs, and they're only 2 games above Buffalo in the division. So that means that, who does Buffalo? They have kind of an easy – they play New England this weekend. So Buffalo's playing New England and then at Miami. Those are both winnable games because the Bills have kind of turned a corner here later on in the season.
Yeah.
So if Miami loses this game to Baltimore and then loses to Buffalo, which I feel like it's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen.
Stop that, Corey.
They lose the division and Buffalo gets it, and then all of a sudden Miami's like a 6 seed or something for a wild card. And so it just they just need to win one of these. If they win this game against Baltimore somehow,
they're going to win, Corey.
They've won the last 2 times against Baltimore. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And if they can somehow pull out a third, then they win the division. They get the number 2. Well, if they beat Baltimore, they'll be in the number 1 spot.
They're going to win. They got the magic of Dan.
Come on, Danny.
Dan just recently visited
Uncle
them.
Dan, let's go.
Hard Knocks is...
I saw that. He was giving out isotoner gloves.
He's old school. Isotoner,
got
just
some
like he used
isotoner
to.
gloves.
Gave him some isotoner
Didn't he used
gloves.
to rep them or something? He used to
be
do like
on all their
commercials. Yeah,
Yep.
and so he got the quarterback...
Awesome.
The quarterback room, all isotoner gloves.
It's awesome.
And then Tua gives everybody like a golf simulator machine thing.
Crazy.
For each one of the guys. So
crazy.
Kind of funny, but we'll see. Lots of teams battling for the final spots in the AFC.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Kansas City in there. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Tony's Cleveland Browns, right? Can you imagine if we interview our cool friend Tony Cox if Cleveland gets into the playoffs?
Kind of a cool Cinderella story.
Dude, Joe Flacco coming off the couch and just throwing bombs.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So, and if we get Tony in here, he'll probably mostly talk about LeBron, but I'm sure if Joe Flacco continues his success, he's going to put Flacco right underneath, I think so. LeBron.
Yeah, he's a huge Cleveland fan. Fun.
So you got Indy in there. We talked about Buffalo, Cincinnati, the Steelers. I mean, there are a lot of teams still fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, fun time.
It is. I like this time of year for NFL because things start coming down, and the games just mean so much to every team, right? Even if they're not in it. New England wants to beat Buffalo.
Who do you think has the better defense, Baltimore, Miami, or Buffalo?
Out of those 3 teams, Baltimore. I think Baltimore is just like the total package right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
And I don't know. I mean, they've got good. They mix the run with the passing. Their passing game isn't like super elite, but it's good because of the way they can run the ball, right? And then you got a scrambling quarterback that makes things happen.
He's
great.
He can be their rushing leader in games.
I just always feel like that guy is MVP caliber every year when he's healthy.
Yeah, Tua's going to have to play out of his mind, which they can do. They can do. Fun.
I don't want to jinx them or anything.
Right.
But it's like, come on. At least get one of these wins, Miami. Let's go.
Yep.
Come on.
Fun.
Whew. If they don't make it, you know what's going to happen?
You're going to cry. You'll be mad.
I'll be mad. I'm going to be mad, right? So I think we had somebody write in. Should we do I'm mad?
I think so. Didn't we get an email?
Well, let's do I'm mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
We did. We got an email here. Let me get it up. This one comes from, you know who's mad this week, Tony?
No.
Russell Wilson.
Oh, jeez. What's he mad about?
He wrote into the show. He says here that he says, "Hey guys, love the show. I'm a little upset this week because my team decided to bench me the last 2 games of the season. So I'm mad that I'm not able to be out there and playing with my team." He says here, it's the organization's decision. They want to save money, so we can talk about that in a second. But, love the show. Thanks for doing what you guys do. Go Bronx. I used to always say go Hawks, right?
Oh,
now it's like go Bronx. Go Broncos or something.
Russell's mad.
Kissing babies.
Yeah, well, he
something.
certainly had a shot at doing what he needed to do, and it just wasn't working with him and Sean Payton.
Well, I think it was interesting to see beginning of the season, right? Like everything was going wrong, and then all of a sudden they won 6 in a row, and they're in the playoff hunt.
Yep.
And then after the last game, not able to pull it out, so they're sitting him. And the thing was, I was reading that they're going to save I could be wrong, but it's like $24 million if he gets hurt in the last 2 games of this season that they would have to guarantee him. Yeah, they got to pay. So they're like, hey, we're going to sit him. We're out of it. So, it's kind of the Wilson era of the Broncos and the big trade that they made for that. And I would say, they go through a coaching change. When Sean Payton was with the Saints in the beginning, he had a very similar record. He had a losing record that first season. Mm-hmm. Works with Drew Brees, and all of a sudden they come back, they win a championship.
I think Sean he wants his guy in there. He kind of inherited Russell, and it'll be interesting. I've read a few things that are like, okay, there's like 4 or 5 teams in the mix that might try and get Russell. Whatever, Russell, he's going to have a shot somewhere, so don't take it too bad, Russell.
Hang in there, buddy. What I do like about Russell Wilson, like he writes into us, right? He doesn't blame the coaches or anything like that. He's just saying, I want to be out there. I'm a competitor.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not, he says the organization wants to save money, but he's not really poking at anything too hard.
Think the Seahawks will take a look at him?
I don't know if there'd be a reunion. He'd have to take him. Who's going to want to take that contract?
Nobody's going to pay him.
I think he's there until, unless I guess they guarantee him and cut him, right? They'd have to pay that out, and then somebody else could pick him up. But
do they have to pay him out if they cut him?
Think of the teams who would. I still think he's got a lot of good, right? But who would be the teams that would take him right now? Who would be them?
I don't know who takes him as a starter.
Would the Panthers take him?
No, they got their young guy.
Right.
Young.
Are they gonna stick that out another year? That's the thing. There's some decisions that are going to have to be made by them, Washington, some of these other teams. Is their quarterback what they want? Or does Washington roll another year with Brissett? Because he's been lighting it up, and he's going to finish the year with Washington.
Yeah, interesting.
Packers don't need him.
I don't know if any
maybe
NFL
the Vikings
team
need
looks
him.
At the Vikings. The Vikings need a lot. But I don't know if any team's going to take him as a starter. I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine.
Really?
I think
you think his starting days have come? It's done.
Money value. I think if he's cut, then it's like. So then he's got to renegotiate with a new team, and he's not going to get the money that he's gotten at Denver. So,
but that'll still be paid out over time.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. Interesting.
They're strange.
Yeah.
The contracts and stuff.
Whatever. Russell's got money.
Russell, keep up the good work. Do your thing. You got Sierra.
For sure.
Life is pretty good. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Take a rest for a couple weeks. He will be the backup quarterback for those games.
Dude, they're not going to put
listed
him in.
as the backup
They won't
quarterback.
Put him in. They'll skip him and go to number 3.
I bet you. Here's what I think is going to happen, and I hope I'm wrong. I think the starter's going to get hurt, and they're going to be sitting there looking at Russell, wondering if they should put him in or
I don't think they will.
Somebody else to try to. Maybe they run Wildcat for a whole week.
If he gets hurt, you're
I don't
risking
know.
$24 million.
I just have a feeling
and Russell's
something's
mad.
going to happen with
Russell's
the first
mad.
one. Yeah, and you know what's going to happen if he gets in there? He'll throw 4 touchdowns in one half, I bet.
I don't know. We'll see.
Something's going to happen. It'll be interesting to watch. So hang in there, Russell.
Yep.
I have something I'm mad about.
What are you mad
about?
about?
Can I throw
Corey?
it in here?
Yeah.
Something that makes me mad is when I take my car to go get an oil change, and everybody's going to know what I'm talking about here in a second. But when you take it in, it's almost like I go in and I can't just get an oil change anymore. When I schedule the appointment, I'm thinking okay, they're going to tell me my tire tread's low. I need new tires. They're going to tell me, we've got some wiper blades and a battery. Your battery looks low, and just all this stuff, right? And I've gone to a couple different places, and they all do it. I get it. It's it's how it's business, right? And
Business.
part of it's taking care of the customer and making sure that everything's good with their vehicle. So I get that part. It's just I don't want to hear it. I want an oil change. Come to you for an oil change the oil and filter, get me good to go.
You're a critical consumer.
I don't want to buy new tires from you. The guy printed off, I just went there the other day, and the guy prints me off, oh, here's our tires, we're running them special and things like that.
Yeah.
And I just say, you know what? I'm going to take them for what they are this winter, and I'll replace them, beginning of next
I just want
spring.
the oil change.
Yeah, just change the oil. Thank you.
Okay.
Or if they want to do the air filter, we can change
Are
the
you
air
courteous
filter.
there, or are you mad right there?
I'm not mad. I didn't know the
mad
guy.
afterwards.
I wonder,
You just want it.
yeah, I just want my oil change. I
Maybe
just
you
want
start
to
a
in and go.
company with oil. It's just oil changes. You just
I don't know if
marketing
there's a good market for that.
Just
I
an
don't
oil
know,
change.
but it's just one of those things that kind of gets to me, and maybe I'm being too critical. I don't
run it
know.
out
It's
of your
probably just my
garage.
thing.
that. Right out of your garage.
I have a funny story.
Corey's just an oil change.
So one time back in high school, my senior year of high school, I'm sitting. My buddy and I are getting ready to go down to U of I. We're going to go to Moscow for a party and hang out and do the thing. And so we're was it? I must have been. I don't know. It wasn't my senior year of high school. It was after that.
Somewhere in
Now
there.
that I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
And so my buddy Kurt and I, he played football at Eastern, won a championship with the Shock, played in the Canadian Football League. I've talked about him a little bit.
Yep.
We'll have to get him on the show. He's one
it'd be fun.
of my special cool
Let's
friends.
do that.
So him and I are going to go down there. We're going to take my car. I had a little Toyota Tercel. And we decide, and I'm like, Kurt, I got to get my oil changed before we go. Like, for some reason, I was worried about it back then. And so he's like, oh, just bring it over to my house. We'll change the oil. So we changed the oil in the driveway. And I got to drive back to Post Falls. He lived in Coeur d'Alene. Drive back to Post Falls real quick to grab my stuff, and then I'm going to come pick him up, and we're headed south. And so I hop on the freeway, and all of a sudden there's this blue smoke just spewing out of the back of the car. My car looks like it's on fire.
Right.
It wasn't on fire, but there's smoke everywhere. And I'm like, what the heck? So you know that little rest stop between Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls on the way there where like some stuff happened with somebody?
Yep, Wild and Willing.
Right. So I never have to stop there, and I don't really want to stop there because of stuff that happened. It's not a place you want to stop, but it was daytime. So I stopped there, and I look, and I can't find anything. Go pick Kurt up, smoke. It's not that bad. Get to Plummer and crossing the railroad tracks right there. I had to downshift. I had a clutch, and it won't move.
This is not good.
We get all the way to Moscow, do our thing. Next morning, hop in the car to leave. It is locked up. Like, it won't start. I can't get it into neutral. Nothing. Tow truck has to come. What happened was we didn't change the oil. We actually drained the trainee fluid.
Oh, no.
We drained the trainee fluid without knowing. It was funny because when we were doing the oil, Kurt's like, okay, pour the oil in, and I poured it in, and it started, it was overflowing, and I was like, it's overflowing. He's like, it shouldn't be. I drained the whole thing.
Jeez.
So we drained, we didn't change the oil, we drained the trainee fluid.
So what did that do to the vehicle?
I needed a new transmission. Transmission was toast.
Oh,
yeah.
terrible.
So there we go. So I can't run my own oil changing company because... I mean, if you need it, maybe I should do a transmission company. I know a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Anyways,
Okay.
sorry to throw that in there.
That's a good story.
You've never heard that?
No.
Yeah. So had a fun time. Made it back from Moscow. Got a new transmission for the Toyota Tercel.
Corey's oil change garage is a no-go. Okay.
So that won't be happening.
Yep, I understand.
Do you have anything you're mad about?
I read in the paper that there was an elderly couple at a store. And
Oh, yes, you were telling me about this.
Teenagers were messing with this grandma on a walker and kind of like pushing her.
Didn't they take it or something?
Yeah.
took the
she
walker?
she almost fell, except her husband caught her. So
That's
terrible.
That was local here?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
That makes me so mad.
Pretty sad, right? Come on, let's
holiday
go.
season.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if it's a holiday season. Why are you doing that?
Terrible.
Really?
Yep. Not cool. Like, it would be hard, like, if you were,
That
like,
pisses me off.
in the background seeing some teenagers doing that, and be hard not to hold back, right? But I would certainly,
I'm glad I wasn't there.
I'd be certainly grabbing them and calling the police and hopefully giving those teenagers their due. But, like, come on, America, let's get back to where we respect our
Elders.
seniors, our
Yeah.
elders. You know what I mean? Let's go Native American on this and, like, have some respect, And there's always dingbirds somewhere, right? But, like, hopefully those kids wake up and somebody tells them, like, stop that. Terrible.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yep.
That's horrible.
Yep, I'm mad.
Oh, man, that gets me fired up.
Okay.
Man, we need something nice to get us to close out the session here. Is there anything nice you can think of
I'm
after
just
that?
imagining you in like a Batman costume and kind of like walking around the shops maybe and just like protecting the elderly.
Oh, hey, there's that guy in Seattle, remember? It was like, he was like, do you know who I'm talking about? There's a Seattle superhero guy. I forgot what he was called, but he'd walk around Seattle like he was a superhero. He'd get dressed up and he'd go out there and he'd like fight crime.
Yeah. I could
kind
see
of thing.
you doing
I forgot.
That. Dude,
I'm not that guy.
I could get the Captain.
I'm not that guy. I do
Captain
podcasts
Canuck.
with any extra time I have.
Dude, the Captain Canuck outfit.
I'm not even fit. What's
You
Captain
could be
Canuck
a-
look like?
Well, I don't know. We used to have him up here. I can't find him right now. But like,
I'm looking all over.
There he is. Captain Canuck. You got like the maple leaf kind of.
Well, we've had him down here. He was riding with Santa last time,
Dude,
but I thought that was called something. You called him
Captain
something
Canada.
else. Captain Canada.
Yeah.
But now, okay, so he goes by a couple different
Yeah,
things.
dude, you could be the protector.
I would roll around in that outfit more before Batman, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
For sure.
That's cool.
You could ski around in that.
Yeah, I get. Maybe that's what we need a vigilante kind of person around
Protector.
here to kick those kids' rears.
I agree.
Okay. Well, hey, if you guys like what you're hearing, spending time with us, share it with your friends and family. And we appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell so you know when new stuff's coming out for Trailside Dukes. Got anything to say to the fans on the way out the door here?
Nope.
All right.
I was trying to think of something clever with Batman, but I thought about the Batman song, but I'm not.
You've got a lot of cats.
You got a lot of cats.
All right. Thanks, guys.